Hi, this is Jim McCarthy, and I just moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, hoping someday to play Pinehurst number 2. This is Golf Smarter number 953.
I got offered a job at PGA West, but I didn't take it on the advice of some people that had been down there a while and said, look, you can do much better just doing things on the side. So this guy hooked me up with people that would pay twice as much. He made a lot of money doing it. So I didn't have to sit out in the sun with that grind every day. I name it Concierge Golf. A doctor friend of mine named it that because he's a concierge doctor. You know, they get like $5,000 for each patient, do anything they want. So I got involved with that, and I did some rock stars, I did some celebrities, but mostly I did it with them through referrals. Like presidents of these major companies want to be involved with the golfer.
A loose grip is the correct grip for better ball striking. With my first tee co-coach, Duke Perrin.
This is Golf Smarter. Sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Greene.
Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Duke.
Thanks, Fred. It's good seeing you again.
It's good to see you. We just met recently.
That's right.
But we met, and I love bragging about how we met.
Yeah.
We're working together at the First Tee North Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching little kids on it's not just how to play golf, it's the lessons that golf has in life.
I couldn't agree more. And it's interesting because Val, who's kind of head of it, he gave me that lesson right away. He says, this is not about teaching golf necessarily. Okay? So it's really only about 3% of it. We're trying to teach these kids to be good people and move with each other, be responsible, that sort of thing. I tell you, I couldn't be enjoying it more. I really couldn't. Yesterday, I had so much fun. Every Wednesday, I'm at
Foxtail North. Foxtail.
Yeah, Foxtail.
One of my favorite courses.
Yeah. So I'm there every Wednesday, and I know those kids by name now, and it's wonderful. I love it. I'm sorry amazing. I didn't do it 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. How many days a week are you doing it now?
I'm doing it 2 days. Well, right this week I'm doing it 2. I'm doing one there and one at Rooster Run.
Right.
With Scott on. Oh yeah, that's right.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have a makeup session.
Yeah, normally it's what we want.
So the first session that we had together, because I missed a couple of them, I didn't finish the testing and whatnot, but and then with travel. So the first session that we had together, Scott, who's the head pro, we're working with him and just assisting him. He wasn't there that day. So we had these kids. We had 9 kids. It was you and me, and it was just the two of us, basically.
Gerardo
and Gerardo was there too. Okay, who runs this First Tee of North Coast.
Yeah.
And so there were 3 of us with 9 kids between the ages of 6 and 10, I guess it is.
Yeah, about that.
And we had to work with them on putting for an hour and a half. Now, anybody who has children or has worked around children knows that keeping them occupied for an hour and a half on a task that they're not familiar with and probably could care less about is not easy.
I didn't want to say that. Yeah,
it's not easy to do.
No, it's not easy at all. I've taught a lot of kids in my day, and it's just keeping their attention is a big deal. I mean, and they lose sight of what you're talking about in 2 or 3 minutes. So it's a constant interaction.
Right.
No
so you have to break
it
up and individualize it. I worked with kids when I was a teenager. I worked at a day camp. So I'm used to working with 6-year-old kids. Plus I coached my kids and the kids in the neighborhood and things like that. But the second session that we did, Scott was there. So we just kind of followed his lead and it was perfect. And we're going to get Scott on the show as well. But this time we're teaching them how to hit a driver. Their attention is there. Now they get to pick up a ball and put down another one, pick up a ball and put down another one. So they loved that. Yeah. But still, after an hour, it was like, all right, they're starting to throw balls at each other now.
That's exactly what was happening. I caught two of them in for the parking lot.
I'm done. I don't want to do this.
We were at Foxterre yesterday, and the kids, because it was hot, it was almost 100 out there.
I played at Rooster yesterday, and when I walked off the course, it said it was 102. I lost 2.5 pounds walking the course yesterday.
God. Anyway, I tell you what, the kids, their attention span, we there an hour and a half. We lost them about 20 minutes into it.
Oh, sure.
They're looking for water. They're looking for daddy. They're like,
well, that's the other thing. The first tee really is focused on helping underserved communities to get kids out onto the golf course, which I couldn't be in more support of, and that's why I'm doing this work. But we live in Marin County and Sonoma County. I'm not getting the sense, I'm not going to judge anything, but I'm not getting the sense that this is an underserved group of kids. They're all walking out with their own sets of clubs.
Yep.
90% of them. I think there was one that didn't. And they've been on golf courses before, and Dad wants them to learn how to play golf. So that's what's going on.
Yep.
So, I would like to be able to branch that out a bit, but nothing you can do about it. So you just work with what you got.
Yeah. And, yeah, that's true. We have 2 kids in Foxterre that are kind of borderline. One of them is like despondent totally, and kind of I don't like what I see about him, and I try to give him extra attention all the time. But he talks like this to you. It's just pretty
turns
sad.
His head and looks away. Doesn't look at you.
And also the mom is not there. All the rest of the moms are there, but his mom's not there. One day his dad was there. They had a big argument, so he's on the wrong track. But,
middle of the week, it's harder for having the parents out there. You have childcare.
Yes,
people who are doing the childcare.
But many of the parents look forward to it. They do. They look forward to seeing their kids out there having fun. And that was another thing I brought away from yesterday. The other parents, because it was hot, they came out and asked me if I wanted water, and I got all involved with it. It was really cool.
So is this the first time that you have worked with First Tee? You've been coaching for a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
Teaching professional, golf teaching professional. But this is the first time you're involved with the First Tee?
It is the first time. I was recruited in Palm Desert, and there's some areas there that are underprivileged. There's no question about that, particularly downtown Palm Springs. But because of this concierge golf thing I was gone. I was away more than I was there. That's not true. I'd say 50-50, but I never could be depended on because, they paid me a lot of money to show up. And
we'll talk about that.
I'm trying to make a living.
Right, exactly, as a golf coach. And we'll talk about your time as a concierge golf coach later on. There's many things that I want to discuss with you.
Yeah, sure.
But let's talk about how long you've been a golf instructor, how you got started with that.
Yeah, sure. I started, I'm back from Vietnam, actually. I played golf in high school. I'm the only kid in school that I know of that played. Yeah.
And where'd you grow up?
I grew up just a little bit this side of Compton. So
in Southern California.
Yeah. So it was a dicey neighborhood of mine. And so the golf course was my respite. I had asthma real bad as a kid, and I only weighed about 110 pounds, maybe, or something, almost 6 feet. So I was an oddball. But fortunately, I just outgrew it. So it worked out. Anyway, that's how I got started. And then I played a little bit of service. And then when I got back home, I went to Palm Desert on an invitation of a friend who hooked me up with, I can't remember their name. It's a couple. She was on the LPGA tour, and he was a golf instructor. And they had a place, believe it or not, I don't know if you've ever been down there or not.
Oh, yeah.
It was right on Palm Canyon, that expensive property. That's how long ago it was. It was right there, a prime spot.
Wow.
And I was there with him for many years. He was really good. He treated me like a son, and they were older at that time, and he thought I had a natural gift for teaching. A little bit more not necessarily for teaching, but for recognizing the mechanics of the swing and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, so I got started almost right away. He turned me into a teacher and didn't take any money for it. He just wonderful guy with his wife. I loved them both. I had dinner at their house about 3 or 4 times a week. After seeing them all day, it was great. Nice relationship. Then I went right down the street. One of them died, by the way. And then I went and he closed the place. I went right down the street to, it's called Riviera. And it's a little 9-holer with a nice driving range. And I met the amateur champion of Mexico, believe it or not. He was a waiter in town there somewhere. But he was the real reigning national champion of Mexico. I met him and a pro named Pat Dolan, who helped me with my game a little bit. And Pat, unfortunately, turned into drinking too much, so I took over that job. And I was there for quite a while. I was there 3 or 4 years. I just was there during the season. In those days, you didn't see many people around when it was hot. Now you do. It's much like now. So I was there for a while.
You said that you were in Vietnam, and played a little golf. How did that wait? Were you playing golf in Vietnam? Were you in the service, or how did that work out?
Actually, I was in the Navy, and we were stationed out of Hawaii quite a bit. So I played a lot of golf in Hawaii. But we went over there for 3 or 4 months, came back for 8 months, and went over there, back and forth all the time. And in Japan too, there was plenty of golf there. I played golf there, and but I just played sparingly. But every chance I got, went out and hit balls or did what I had to do. So that's all. Yeah, I didn't play any golf in Vietnam. I never actually set foot in Vietnam. I say Vietnam because that was the era.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then you're down in the Coachella Valley. Now, we've talked about the Coachella Valley on this show a tremendous amount because that's where Tony Manzoni spent decades with the College of the Desert. Did you ever cross paths with Tony Manzoni?
Absolutely. I'm leading up to that right now. I know you want to hear about that.
Oh, I absolutely do. It's hard to find people who recognize the name or even more so had contact with him. So Any stories that you've got, I would love to hear. We adore Tony.
I know. So I left Riviera, went up to Orange County, worked at the municipal there. Then I took a job as head instructor for a group of golf courses over in Orange County. There were 2 at the time, not 3 this week. And then I met Willie Barber, a brother to Jerry Barber, who won the PGA article that year it was. So Willie played golf down at Mission Hills every Wednesday. He had a girlfriend Valley. So we all went with him. But I was working on my game with Willie at the time. So, because I wanted to play a new. So anyway, we went down there one time, and that's where I met Kim Venturi. And while I was talking with Kim, Tony walked up. And so every Wednesday, I got a chance to talk to Tony. I don't recall exactly what he did there. I think he was a little bit more than an instructor. I think he did a few other things besides that. But he was clearly, and he was a memorable guy. I mean, I remember him like he was yesterday. That was a long time ago. And he very authoritative on what he believed in. And I love that in a person, I mean, this is the way it is, Duke. We had a few conversations, but to say that I knew him as a friend or anything like that would not be true. Because we always said hello to each other. We never played together or anything like that. But yeah, I saw him maybe 8 times. Because I went every Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you have a relationship with Kim Venturi?
I didn't have a relationship with him. He kept kind of in the office all the time. He just got a divorce, one of his wives, and he just had hand surgery. That's when he kind of quit the tour. And I remember that. And So I didn't get to see him all the time, but he really knew him, and he would go into his office, and when he would open the door or when he was there, I was with him and we talked to him. Very good guy, very good guy. I mean, he seemed to be. So I didn't see, I saw Tony much more than I saw him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how many years did you spend down in the Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Coachella Valley area?
Which time?
Oh, so multiple.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, after that.
Tours of duty.
I was coming there every Wednesday from Orange County. I wasn't there yet. So I had worked at a couple places over in Orange County. And then I decided to go back in the desert. And that's, yeah. And I've always had a business on the side because I don't make enough money for my appetite doing just what I do. So at night when I go home, I have a business on the side I've had for years that I do okay with. And so I went to the desert, and then I told you I met my neighbor who helped me. Wait, I'm sorry. In the interim, I went to work for Ram Golf.
Uh-huh.
Ram Golf in those days was owned by the Hansburgers, two brothers, and they sold to Colgate-Palmolive. Colgate-Palmolive wanted a piece of the action in golf. So
is this during the Palmer, the Arnie's Army years?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was.
Yeah, so everybody wanted a piece of the action.
Yeah. We already had its own equipment, but we had most of the LPGA players. And on the PGA Tour, we had like Gary Player, Tom Watson. In those days, we had all the biggies on the staff, all of them. So I was working for handling major accounts, and also I got involved with the ladies' tour down there in Mission Hills. I got involved because in those days they didn't have the tour trucks that pull up, where they fix clubs, they do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I was the guy that went to the tour players, and if they needed something, I got it. When I got through with work that day, I beat it down to Reading, which was 65 miles or something like that. And the club maker knew during that period of time he works nights. So I'd go down there. Yeah. I'd go down there and didn't, bring the clubs back. It seemed like every day. And then when the women were there, they were nuts about changing clubs. I would run back and forth all the time. I got involved, and hardly got any sleep on it, but I got involved with the tournament over there, and I did some things kind of with the tournament because I was working for Colgate-Palmolive at the time. Uh-huh. So they told me, we want you involved and kind of sort things out. I did a lot of stuff. I didn't have any particular deal. I got to know Dinah Shore quite well. And did some work with a couple of the LPGA players, and that's about it. Then I quit. I went back to let's see, what did I do then? I went to the desert. That's what I did. Mm-hmm. No, wait, there's an interim. I went back to Orange County, then I went in the desert. When I went back to Orange County, as we were talking about, I didn't do much. I went back.
And in the desert, you were teaching golf? You were a golf instructor? Or?
No. I actually did not have because I found I could make more money doing private things. There's so much business there. It isn't like here. I mean, people flock in there all looking for lessons. I mean, it's amazing. So I found out. Why
in the Palm Springs area?
Yeah, or the whole area down there, whole area.
Yeah.
So I found I got offered a job at PGA West, or actually that's where I ended up living at PGA West. But I did take it on the advice of some people who had been down there a while and said, "Look, you can do much better, just doing things on the side. There's all kinds of schools down here. There's people doing them." So what I did, this guy helped me. He hooked me up with people that were doing school for one plane swing. It just paid twice as much. I made a lot of money doing that. So just doing that, and plus my own little business, I didn't have to sit out in the sun with that grind every day. You know what I'm saying? So instead of that, I took that option. Then it is at that time that I met my neighbor. Yeah, then I went. I name it Concierge Golf. Okay, that's a doctor friend of mine named it that.
Concierge Golf.
Yeah, because he's a concierge doctor. You know, they get like $5,000 for each patient. Do anything they want, kind of thing. And so I got involved with that, and I did some rock stars. I did some celebrities, but mostly I did because they have all these hangers on. These presidents of these major companies want to be involved with the golf and all of that. Mostly I did it with them through referrals, like heads of major corporations and things like that. Yeah.
Really? So these are people. So basically what you were doing, you were giving golf instructions to high-priced clients who had high-profile, high-priced clients.
Yep.
They didn't want to wait around, didn't want to be on a driving range where they might have people come up to them and ask them for autographs and pictures and things like that. They just wanted their private time. And so that's the kind of golf instructor you became, right?
Yeah.
And I know that we've had this conversation. I'm not allowed to ask you names. When you said you met your neighbor, we'll just keep it at that. But this is, again, somebody that anybody who grew up in the United States in the last half of the
century,
the 20th century, may recognize that person's name. So we'll just keep it at that.
Yeah, yeah. So I flew. I even had, I even flew on a few private planes. They sit planes for me once in a while, not often. They paid me too much money. So,
but you didn't complain.
No, of course not. But you know what? I got sick of it. I did it for 16 years, but I got sick of that for the first year. I wasn't home hardly at all. I adore my wife, who I've been married to for 60 years. He just like, we had this kind of marriage on the phone. It was nuts. And like I said, I'd be home for our anniversary, and then I got another call, and I couldn't say no, that sort of thing. It just wasn't me. I'd rather be home and grinding it on a range. So, but the money was so good that it allowed me to do my other business, but bring it, to move it along better too. Did it more.
I am very fascinated about this concept of concierge golf. So, like teaching golf to the rich and in their own mind famous, but wealthy enough where they can just say, I'm going to have my own teacher come to me when I'm available. It's like, what is the difference? Or is there? I mean, there's still, either bad or beginning golfers, or were there any good golfers that just wanted to be better? What was it like? How is it different, I guess is the question, than just giving lessons out on the range?
It was terribly awkward in some ways because all these guys, they could afford anything they wanted. So a lot of times I would go somewhere and the other guy would be at his club, the guy that gave him lessons, like, I could name a well-known pro, but I don't want to. He was right there next to me while I was working with him, and he worked with him for 2 years. These guys just, I don't know why. I'd be embarrassed to do something like that. And I always was careful after that. I don't like to brush people like that. It's just not like, I'm at the other brother. I just don't do that anymore. I asked him the question, what are we going to do? Who's there? He was like, Mingers did. They're a little abusive. These guys are a little abusive because they can have anything they want. A lot of them turned out to be good friends. I'm not saying that I don't like them because I did as well. I have a lot of fun with them. But that kind of thing, it's just not me. I don't know how else to say it. But most of it was good. And I understand, I was with them sometimes 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, we worked all day. They were intent. They couldn't
really? It's not like you just go out for an afternoon.
Oh, no. I would go sometimes I'd stay at their house. Oh, yeah. Hell yes. And then we just go out. We go out to their course and we work all day. Some of these guys are used to being the best of everything, but they can't be good at golf. I mean, that's my interpretation of it. And so So yeah, we'd stand up there and grind for days and days. Yeah. Yeah, they have a full camera set up, the whole thing. And,
Wow.
yeah. My philosophy is about teaching, not in line with that either. You got to get out, dig it out of the dirt, so to speak. And we've all heard that term. And that's what you got to do. You can tell somebody what to do. It's their job to go out there and do it.
We frequently talk about that on this show, is that there's a big difference between hitting balls and playing golf.
Absolutely. Huge difference. Huge difference. Yeah.
And did you ever do on-course lessons as well? Did you ever go out on the course and with them and give the lesson?
Oh, yes, a lot. I did get that a lot. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But you can't. I always felt awkward doing that because we could do the same thing on the range. And on the range, I get them to hit half shots. You got to get easy before you can start jamming it, right? But on the course, they're not going to listen to that. So it's awkward. I could tell them where to tee off from, what side of the tee to tee out from, what's the best strategy here. That I could talk about all of that. But to go out there and actually and put those people behind us, they're out there. You got the guy they don't care. Those guys don't care.
No.
A lot of them
they didn't have their own golf course?
Yeah. I did a lot of other stuff too. Not only that, but I did some other stuff at the time. Some schools. I worked at Jim Slick and Bob Tosky. I worked at their school once in a while. I was a short game guy, just because they needed one. Jim liked me and fly in there for 23 days and fly out. So they paid my airfare and So I did a little bit of that. How about that?
Are you a certified PGA instructor?
I was.
Did you ever get the certification?
No, I was a PGA guy back in the late 60s, early 70s. But it's like Bob said, the first guy I worked for, he said, I'm PGA. They don't do anything for you. So they're a little bit different they are now. I could go back and do it again, but you really don't need it. You really do. Yeah.
So how did you study to become a teacher? I mean, was it just innate for you, or did you have to learn how to teach?
Look, no, I don't think. Yeah, I did learn in a way. In fact, I just paid a guy about $400 in lessons. We traded lessons. So he has a fancy name that I can't pronounce. He's basically a psychiatrist. Okay, and I did a lot of this kind of thing. I've always been curious. So I always felt that golf instructors who use terms like supination, extension, all these fancy terms that I may talk to another instructor about, we all understand what each other means. When you give that to a student, when you talk to a student about that thing, instead of you supinate your wrist or you backload it or something like that, when you talk that way, all of them act like they understand, but I question if they really do understand because I see this blank look on their face. And I'm thinking, you know what? I've taken enough lessons in my life. If I didn't understand anything years ago, I'm not going to use the word ashamed, but I was embarrassed to ask what, because I could play. I was exactly what the guy meant. I don't know why, but I was embarrassed about it. And I think that's what happens to people. I think like if I said, quit supinating as much, try this, try that kind of thing, he might not say anything. My student may not say anything.
Right.
So I talked to this guy about that. This is about 2 years ago. I traded him some lessons for some education. So anyway, I quit talking. I don't even talk that trash anymore. I call it trash. Because I want them to understand. I think part of the reason, I hate to be esoteric about this, but I think part of it has to do with YouTube. All golfers now look at YouTube, they go out, that's how they get their games in a mess, right? And I think that all kind of goes together. I think you got to be clear, absolutely crystal clear about what you're saying and explaining it. And the first thing I ask people, I took less with, do you listen to YouTube? And I talked to them, I said, to be honest with me, and they all say yes. I said, how often? They all say 3 or 4 times a week, an avid golfer, right? 3 or 4
And they're
times a
lying
week.
there. It's every
Yeah,
night.
that's right.
And I'm just speaking from experience, by the way.
No, but do you see my point? Their head is full of stuff. And they think because the guy's on television that he knows more than you do. They automatically assume that. These guys are just trying to spell advertising time, okay? Let's be serious about this. Do they really want to? Oh, yeah, of course they do. I've never met a guy that had the best interest of people in mind, but they're selling advertising. That's not fearful. And a guy listens to that and he goes out and gets golf lessons. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I have to say to you,
please,
that yes, everybody wants to sell advertising, but on YouTube, that's not going to make you a living until you have a significant following. And the way to get a significant following is to have some credibility.
Yep.
And not necessarily just credibility, but a strong presentation style. So, that's where, you can get a lot of eyeballs going, and you're not going to make a ton of advertising, but you will get a lot of people reaching out to you and try to take lessons and stuff. So there's multiple motivations there. I mean, I'm addicted to YouTube, not just golf instruction, but I find a lot of people there that I want to talk to and I learn from. And then I pick and choose what I want to listen to, because sometimes I'll be watching a YouTube video and go, yeah, this doesn't apply to me.
Yeah. If you can do that, that's fine. But most people can't. They're going to go out the next day and try it. Then they're going to go back home, look at it again, and try it again. Now, then they got themselves in a wad. They can't get out of it.
Or they're just going to keep it in their head and they won't even practice it.
That's what
I'm
like, saying.
I saw this on YouTube, so I can do this. Oh, wait. Did you try it? Did you practice it? No. I saw it on YouTube. Okay, fine. Never mind.
I was on the range 2 days ago. I was surrounded by 3 guys here and 3 guys here. They were talking, and each of them giving each other lessons. And because I'm watching, I recognized this guy, what each group was talking about. And they had the wrong idea what this guy was trying to say. Both of them had the wrong idea. Wow. So I know that it's a cancer. I know it.
So what makes golf instruction unique? What is it about golf instruction that is different than instruction for other disciplines? I don't even know. I don't know where to go with that. But
I don't know. I think to be good, I think you have to have a burning desire to really help people. I started off with high school kids, and I just love that so much. I don't know how to answer that. I really don't. I don't have an answer.
So tell me about your teaching philosophy and your teaching method.
Well, I have several things. But I told you I don't speak jargon with them. I say you bend your wrist back like that, or you bend your. I don't say side bend. I said move this step up here or that. I don't talk those words. I make it clear. I try to keep the slate clear. And also, there's a couple of things. Now, golf has changed a lot. We're kind of moving back to the old way. In this essence, we're not. By that, I mean rotation. Everything's rotation. I've always believed that was the right way to play. Rotation. But the guys on tour now, they stretch their arms as far wide as they can get them. You tell who can do that? I can't do it. I don't know anybody over 40 can do it and play that way. But I see those guys out there on the range tried it, and they're a mess. What I like to do is instill a gap, grip alignment and posture. If you don't have that, it's tough working with people. It's like Gerardo. There's a good example.
Grip alignment and posture. I thought it was PGA. Position, grip, and alignment.
Well, it could be. I'm too old, So that's interesting. So, he wants me to help him. I said, sure, I'll help you. But I only use it him because it was happened yesterday. But it happens to everybody. So I put his grip on the club for him. I said, look, so you need to go home. I want you to take an old club. I want you to cut off the steel at the grip. I want you to tape it because it's really sharp. And I want you, when you're watching television, I want you to get your grip exactly right. I want you to hold on to it. You're driving. If you only drive one handle, I want you to put the right hand on it like that, because it takes hours and hours and hours to get it right. I no sooner said it, he's back to this again. But that's everybody.
Well, right. They want to do what's comfortable. And when you're taking golf lessons, you have to get out of your comfort zone and adjust to something that takes a while to get adjusted to, and you won't always have the instructor with you. So that you have to do something that is uncomfortable until it's comfortable.
You're right. You have to do that. It's the quickest way to get better. There is no quicker way. So,
but it's not quick.
No,
it does take time.
None of it's quick.
But that's the beauty of golf. You're here for a lifetime.
Yeah, we teach feels. That's what we teach, feels. Once you can get a feel for it, then you can relax your body. You're not tense like this all the time. The other thing that I think kills more golfers than anything, and it has to do with grip as well, is swinging from here. That doesn't work. I don't know if you can see.
Please explain what you mean, because I'm looking at you, but our audience is not.
Yeah, I know. So when you're up here, I would say 90% of golfers, when they go here, they grab the club like this.
Okay, so when you on your downswing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to hit it, so they tighten up.
Oh, I see.
Problem number one, and they go like this. How do you
squeeze? They squeeze the grip?
Yeah. You watch them. You go on next time you're on the range, you watch. It's pronounced. You can see it. Most of them do that, particularly people that slice the ball up. They grab it like this, and immediately, the hand goes like this. It's out of position. That's her. Yeah. So that's a big deal. There was a guy in San Diego, I forgot his name. I wish I wouldn't have. He taught, just hold on to it lightly and hit it with your body. He was very successful, and it works. If you just get a light grip, just turn your body, just keep that light grip, you'd be surprised how far you can get. I don't teach that because people don't believe it, but it works. It works for some people. It worked for me.
And hit it with your body?
Well, not necessarily your body. Your arms are always going to travel faster than your body. Let's face it. Yeah, always. But what I'm saying is just hit it relaxed. That's right. Just don't tighten up right here. Your arms will automatically release. You don't have to worry about release, a good release, a bad release. If you keep your hands soft and hit the ball, it will release properly. As long as you don't do something quarter with your body. It'll work.
Huh.
Yeah.
I love that.
Put your feet together. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Just take it right here and just drop the club. It works every time. It squares perfectly. As long as you got a good grip. If you're holding it like this, you're going to go like that, you're going to push it right, one or the other. No question.
If you try to roll your hands over.
Yeah, don't try anything. Just pull your arms down. I say body because I say body, but pull your arms down about 40%. You just let them go. You'll be amazed. Straight. Bam, like that. That's when you try to get it hard. Yeah. So if you graduate, you need like 40%. Get that down 15, then 16, then 70. In a couple of months, you'll be hitting that off square. It just works that way, but you got to have the right grip.
Got to have the right grip.
Yep.
And not a tight grip, the right grip.
The right grip. But everybody goes like that. I can find myself doing it once in a while, as long as I've been playing.
Squeezing the club, squeezing it.
And then your wrist don't work after that. They don't work properly.
So is that the name of this episode? A light grip is the right grip?
Well, yeah. You need to find your own. Okay, everybody's different. And you need to find your own. But lighter is better than if you go like that. You can't get the club in the right spot. It will go out here like that. Go like up there like that.
Oh, so interesting.
Yes.
Well, Duke Perrin, thank you so much for spending this time with us, sharing your stories, your history, your contact with Tony Manzoni, and the light grip is the right grip. And my friend, I look forward to seeing you this Saturday morning at the first tee of North Coast, where we're going to help those little kids learn to love golf.
Sounds good. Thanks, Fred.
So I got an email from our episode 942 Golf Smarter ambassador, Chet Hurwitz, sharing with me that last week at the age of 70, playing at the Atlanta Country Club from the green-white combo tees, he shot a 69. Wow. That's one of those bucket list goals for every golfer, to be able to shoot below your age. It was the first time he had done it, and hopefully not the last. He said that the tip that helped him cross that remarkable barrier was a Tony Manzoni insight that if you're not able to hold your follow-through position after your swing, then you're swinging too hard. In all the advice from Tony, that's not one that I remember, but I will never forget. Congratulations, Chet. That's incredibly impressive. I'm happy for you and look forward to playing with you next spring when we do our Golf Smarter adventure to the Robert Trent Jones Trail just down the road from you in Alabama. Stay tuned. But now I need to thank this week's Golf Smarter ambassador, Jim McCarthy, who, as he explained, has just moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, and is hoping to someday play Pinehurst number 2. I don't know. After watching the best players in the world being eaten alive by that course at the PGA Championship, I kept watching and saying to myself, I'm not so sure I'd ever want to subject myself to that level of torture. What an amazing course and a phenomenal weekend of golf. And if I may speak on behalf of the Golf Smarter community to Rory McIlroy, dude, we've been there and we feel your pain. I'd like you to become a Golf Smarter ambassador and introduce a future episode too. When you do, you have a choice of 3 great free gifts that are all part of my game improvement package. All you need to do to become a Golf Smarter ambassador and get your free gift is write to golfsmarterpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you with some simple instructions on how to do it and what to say. Now I'd like to tease you with some upcoming guests that we have on the docket for this summer. You know the famous and prolific author James Patterson? Yeah, why am I talking about him in golf? Well, next month his latest book is being released and it's called Tiger, Tiger, His Life as It's Never Been Told Before. It's a great read and I cannot wait to discuss it with him. Also, after talking about this for around 3 years, I've finally scheduled my road trip to Eugene, Oregon to get a tour, play golf, hang out, and record a new episode with Sam Hahn, CEO of Lab Golf. Not sure if you've been following YouTube, but instructors, reviewers, and influencers all seem to be in agreement that Lab's latest putter, the DF3, is one of the greatest putters ever created. Frankly, I couldn't agree more. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for upcoming episodes, please write to golfsmarterpodcast@gmail.com or click on the Hey Fred button when you visit golfsmarter.com.